Well, there's no need for introductions. I'm sure everyone is familiar with the names Carlton Leach and John Holmes. But for those that have never heard or been made aware of, the incident in December 1995, I mean, it's hard to forget with the extensive coverage by certain people. But Carlton, it was your best mate that was murdered that night. And John, your brother was convicted of a triple murder that landed him a life sentence. One of those men was none other than Tony Tucker, Carlton's best friend. And with all that being said, I can't think of an interview or conversation more deserving than with you two. So I'll open with John. Did you know, or were you ever friends with Tony, Pat, or Craig?
No, I knew Pat because I was in prison with Pat in early 90s. And he was a cellmate of mine for about 3 months. But Tony and Craig, no, I never even knew of them or even heard of them.
Right. It's interesting because after your brother's arrest, somebody actually came forward that was quite well documented to come forward to offer you help and befriend you with the case. What can you tell us about that?
Well, when Jack and Mick was in Belmarsh prison, there was a note left in the visiting hall. And in the note, it said, I've got the 8th shell, because in the trial, there was a thing about one of the shells was missing. And it said, I've got the 8th shell, ring this number. And I thought myself, at the time, I thought, well, there was a lot of confusion over that shell, so I rang it. And then the person who I rang, who I now call the Parasite, obviously done umpteen films and umpteen bloody books and the rest of it, but I call him the Parasite. I don't want to call him nothing else but a Parasite, because that's what he is. It's him, and he wanted to help me. And at the time, he was making a few things in books and that, and I thought he's handy because I can get to the media for him. And I decided to meet up with him and use him in the media.
Right.
And that's really how I got to know him.
Gotcha. So that being said, and I know it's just something that Carlton and I have discussed, and I think it's been discussed on every social media site and in every conversation with relation to the Rettendon incident. There was some very specific, from my understanding, some very specific information and photos.
Well, in the early days, obviously, when I palled up with the Parasite, he took, he asked for certain things about the case and paperwork and stuff like that, which I let him read. We had nothing to hide. I let him read it, and he had the photographs. I've got the only set of photographs to do with the case, and he took them away, and certain other bits and pieces which he read through, and he ran a bit of a website. But I never dreamt that guy would put them pictures online.
Right.
And when they went online, that was absolutely mad, because I rung him up. I got him to take them down in the end.
Right. So would you say that information and the photos that he gained access to, would you say that it propelled his career?
Oh yeah, definitely. He wouldn't have had nothing else.
Definitely.
Nothing else. The thing is with the Parasite is he had nothing. He wanted something, and he just launched himself onto all the evidence. The thing that people don't realise and people don't know is that the Parasite was never ever mentioned in the courts. So we had the highest court in the land. There was four solicitors, 4 QCs, 4 barristers, all on that case, and the Parasite's name was never mentioned. Unlike Carlton's, Carlton's was mentioned quite a few times, associate of Tony, and nothing criminally Carlton, but
yeah.
But your name was obviously mentioned several times, and but the Parasite never was.
Well, I've got to ask, and maybe this could be a question to either of you. And I never really followed the case, truth be known. Obviously, something I've discussed with Carlton over the years. Would their name definitely have come up if they were involved on any level?
Oh yeah, 100%. like Carlton's come, relatives come up, all the associates from around that area come up, and there's a lot of unused stuff that where people ring in and say such and such killed Pat, Tony, and Craig, blah blah blah, and they just come up in just evidence. The police know that it's just a ring in, and as you get thousands of them, but his name never come up. And as far as I know, I don't think he was an associate. I've seen pictures of him with them, you know, with Tony and Pat, but I don't. There's a picture of the Parasite with Ronnie Craig. I mean,
Yeah.
he was in prison, so I mean, and there was a video recorded of him saying, that, "Ring me back, Ronnie." I mean, you don't have phones in jails.
See, what I find, again, this is where you two can educate me and a lot of people that are either, I guess you could say, unbiased on it, or they've got an interested mind, whatever it may be, on any level. But from face value, if someone was willing to help you right from the outset, John, that has to be commendable. But somebody's opinion and view changed on everything. Why do you think that was?
Why do I think that he stood by us and then changed?
Yeah, I mean, he was quite the Parasite, as you put forward his name.
Yeah,
he was quite. Anyone that would step up and help anyone in that state is by any standard commendable. But then he changed. He
right,
180. He said, "I'm not helping you. You know." The opinion was put there that, oh, he was guilty and I lied in the beginning. Why do you think he changed his mind that quick, that aggressively?
I think because he'd earned so much out of it on books and films and stuff like that. Eventually, he was just wearing the arse out of it, and he had to change to try and make money, because he couldn't. There's only so many books and so many films that you can.
That story you can tell that once, isn't there, John?
Say that again, Colin?
There's only that story can be only told once. But how many ways do you want to tell it?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And he tried to, sorry to interrupt you, but I'm just agreeing with what you're saying. You know what I mean? Totally right.
Yeah, and that's the thing that he does. I mean, even though he's done it in now against Jack and Mick, and he's going hell for leather for it, but he can't hurt Jack or Mick. He can't hurt them at all. Jack and Mick was found guilty by the highest court in the land. I protested their innocence, and still to this day I don't know they're innocent. But the Parasite cannot hurt them. He can't hurt them no more. All he's doing is for his own benefits, his own money, but he's running out of time.
Yeah.
Well, if I can ask, John, again, this is where you guys are educating me, as I'm sure it would be a lot of people that never really took a big social interest in it. Obviously, you got to know the individual from the outset, him willing to help you. There has to be a question then on his character. Did you get to spend a lot of time around him, his family, his friends, that would have given you any indication to believe that he didn't have honest intentions from the outset?
Yeah, family, yeah, but I don't think he had any friends.
No.
I never, he never.
Definitely not, John. Definitely not, mate. He never had no mates. I swear. Bang on there. He's got no friends, I'm telling you. None. Yeah. He weren't part of our school.
Right.
Never went out of us. We never socialised with him. No one wanted to socialise with him. Tony despised him. Pat sort of suffered him. But he weren't a person you want to have in your company with your missus or be out, or he weren't one of us. You couldn't, you wouldn't feel comfortable. Like with someone like yourself, your background, if we sat there and had a bit of food and a drink, you got that something we could feel comfortable with. With him, you never felt that way. He didn't have that bit about him that proper people had. He's never had it. Do you know what I mean? Didn't you?
And even the time that I was in the early 90s when I was away for Pat, I was only with him for about 6 months, Pat, in the jail. Lovely bloke. Don't get me wrong, Pat. He treated me like his bloody son. Wonderful guy. But your name come up. guy called McCarthy. I think he's down your neck of the
Yeah,
woods.
yeah,
There's a few names like that that come up. I don't know who these people are, but a few names like that come up. The Parasite never come up. So when he flung himself onto me, you know, he had one ambition to earn
yeah,
money out of it, and he had
yeah,
no knowledge.
yeah.
He got his knowledge from the case.
Yeah, of course he has, and that's why he wrote his books down to use.
Yeah,
What the info he got out of use, give him that springboard to write all that.
100%.
So everyone thought he had first-hand knowledge because he was part of the original Essex boys, whatever they never existed. That was his little name. And like yourself, do you think like 4, 5, 6 grown men would be sitting in a fucking pub one afternoon and go, we need to call ourselves a name? Oh, I know what. Where do you live? Essex. We call ourselves Essex. No one talks like that, John, and
No.
you know that.
Yeah.
And he ain't got that fucking, you know.
Yeah, so he never had the friends, you know. And a few times that I went out and socialised with him, he just wanted to try and make out that he was like Billy Big Balls. I've met his brother, his mum, and his girlfriend at the time, who he then actually married. Because every time we turned up, you know, he turned up with his girlfriend every time, and you know, his brother, his mum, and everyone was lovely. And his girlfriend, she was a lovely girl, but the girl kept warning me. She kept warning me. All the girl ever wanted.
She kept warning you in what respect? Like just that there was an ulterior motive, or just his character, or?
No, I'll tell you where it was, and I think probably where it was part of one of the turning points. We was out with his brother one night, and that was where his brother lives, down in Birmingham that way. And we went to a pub, and we was in this pub, and we're sitting all having a drink. His brother, his wife, the Parasite, and his girlfriend. I'll just say her name's M, the letter M, right? So she was sitting there at the table, and then he gets up, the Parasite, and goes to the toilet. As he goes to the toilet, I deliberately see him knock into a guy, right? And I thought, what's he done that for? You know? So then he comes back from the toilet and knocks into the guy again. And the guy turns around and says to him, what the fuck do you do that for, mate? So what the Parasite done, artless cunt, picks a glass up off the bar and smashes it in his face, right? Can't use his bare hands, got to have a tool. Right, smashes it in his face. And of course, that's created a scene. So I'm out. He's the Parasite's girlfriend at the time, who I'll call M, says, come on, John, we're out of here. And his brother says the same, we're out. So we all goes out, and I'm thinking, well, hang on, we're leaving him there. There's a group of guys there. So we goes out, gets in the car park, jumps in the car. And of course, his Parasite's girlfriend's going, let's go. And I said, well, what, are you leaving there? And he said, yep, we're leaving there. Anyway, he comes walking across the car park, as bold as brass, and then starts jumping up and down outside. These guys come out, and then he brings out, well, it might have been a sword, a knife out of his pocket. And I'm thinking, you've come out to set something up. So anyway, he gets in the car, they're rowing, him and his girlfriend are rowing, goes back to the hotel, gets in the hotel, rowing in the bar they was, and I'm thinking, I'm going to fucking bed now, you know? Anyway, so they've had a row, he's fucked off clubbing because he wants some more fucking coke probably. So he's fucked off clubbing, and I've gone upstairs to my room. When I go upstairs to my room, bang, bang, bang on the door. There she is, the Parasite's girlfriend, him. Come in. I said, what the fuck was that all about? She said, oh, he's fucking lost the plot, blah, blah. Anyway, she ends up staying in my room.
Say that again.
We was woken about 2 a.m.
She stayed in your room?
She stayed in my room. Right. Weren't that good, but anyway, she stayed in my room. And at 3 o'clock in the morning, bang, 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 bang. I think, what the fuck's that? Well, he's come home steamed up from the club, and he's going bang, 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 bang to his, I'll call it M, let me in, let me in. I thought, well, she can't because she's here, you know. Anyway, the security comes up there because they hear the noise, someone's moaned, takes him downstairs, big kerfuddle, and he ends up sleeping down in the bar. She goes back in her room, all kosher. Next morning, gets up, we have breakfast, goes to a local garage in the car because I'm in his car with him and her. Gets into the garage. He goes in to get a newspaper because he's fucking newspaper mental. Goes in there and gets a newspaper, and I'm sitting in the car. And she says, "John, get out, get on a train, bus, or a fucking taxi, and get the fuck out of here because he ain't right." He takes, when she told me and all, he takes 11 tablets because of his head injury years ago, and she said he's crackers. Fuck off, you know. And with that, I said, right, well, we're going back now. So eventually took me back to my car because my car was back in Peterborough, and I just fucked off home. And that was that incident. Then after then they got married, and I went to the wedding. The poor girl only wanted to get married. She wanted to get married, not that fucking idiot, I'm sure, but get married. And she wanted to try a coke at her wedding, for all her mates to share. And that all happened, you know. He's playing the Billy Big Boys, and anyone will tell you that whoever went to it, that's what happened because they was walking around with a tray of coke, you know.
John, go back to your brother. I mean, that's got to be quite disheartening that somebody could come in at the beginning of it all, plot up, you know, take refuge with you. I'm guessing promise the world of some sort of retribution or justice, and it ends up that where he just kicks off, I guess, just saying an immature way, trying to prove a point, which to me just seems fucking childish.
That's just the way that he worked. You know what I mean? The one that got out was her, really. That, you know, his girlfriend. I know it's sad when she died. You know what I mean? Her funeral was sad, and I went to the funeral and I've put flowers on her grave since. But because she was a nice enough girl, and you know, she gave me the warning, the early warning system. Do you know what I mean? But him, where are his friends? Do you know? Where are the associates he knows? And it's like myself. I'm just a, what he calls me, a carrot cruncher up there in Suffolk. We are, but I've got friends. You know, I can ring someone up the same as you, Carlton, the same as you. You can ring someone up and say, let's go for a beer. I bet he can't.
Do you think that will ever come out who actually did it?
I think it'll come out. Yeah.
Will it come from your once newfound friend? Do you think he actually knows anything? Do you think he's a credible source on any level?
No, because at the minute he's just hammering and going ahead about all the evidence. You know, the old evidence that was read out in the court, which he's only seen the paperwork for. You know, he's going for all old stuff. He must have copied it all. He must have copied all the documents that he borrowed. He must have done. And he's going through stuff in there, and you know, he's trying to prove what he's trying to prove that Jack and Mick are definitely guilty. But you know, that was already done in a court. You know, I've protested the innocence for 20 odd years, and it's my job at the end to prove otherwise. And you know, Jack's out now. Mick will be out very, very shortly. So, and there's an appeal pending. And if when I say these words, there's an appeal pending, there is an appeal pending. You know, it's with the CCRC. Part of that appeal will come out who give the order, which is going to wake a lot of people up. You know, the evidence to do with the case, a lot of it's telephone evidence and paperwork and the rest of it would fill an 8x4 room, you know, bedroom, floor to ceiling. There's thousands and thousands and thousands of sheets, including the unused stuff and all, which has been through. We've all gone through it. It's not. Some of it relates to the case. Some of it is to Essex, what I wouldn't know nothing about. But there is not one document with that Parasite's name on, you know. And he come to me, search this name, search this name, search this name, and he must have had 20 aliases, I think. And he says, search for them. Sorry, Parasite, it's not there. the thing is with so your friends, Carlton, Pat and Tony and Craig, they was everyone's seen the photographs due to the Parasite, but they was killed in such a military way. You know,
Yeah.
there's no mess in there. There's no mess in the motor. You know what I mean? And you ain't gonna be a carrot cruncher from Suffolk and Mick Still from Essex. You know, ex-drug importer. Mick ain't a shooter. Do you know what I mean? Mick, I knew Mick because he was in the jail with us, and he introduced me. You know,
Yeah.
Mick's a nice enough guy. Do you know what I mean? But it will come out, and I guarantee you that'll be where my I6, something military, something around that area. What it'll be, or if it is gangland, they're fucking very clean.
Yeah, that whoever's done that is a proper assassin.
Yeah, 100%.
They're professional. I'm talking about when you say professional, that's what they do as a living.
Yeah,
live and breathe that shit. You know what I mean? Anyway, like, you know, in our world, people can pull shooters out and fucking shoot someone, whatever. You go shoot them in the art and they'll hit your knee, and anybody, oh, he's been shot by you. It don't mean you're a fucking professional shooter, but as you well know, like that was definitely, and I believe all these years that that was someone who was an assassin, a professional.
Yeah. So you don't.
It's like sending a fucking SAS, like government. Someone sent out an SAS. Top SAS it, man, and fucking bang and do them. Got a job for you, yeah. Great.
So you, Carlton, don't believe my brother Jack was anything to do with it?
No.
Good.
That's what I'm speaking to you now.
Yeah.
And I'm doing it in public, so I've never met him. And I was with Tony and Mickey and Craig when they was having conversations about everything. And never once did Mickey bring your brother's name up. Never was he on any meets, and as close as was to Tony, if he was, I knew he was going to meet Mickey, but if he would have gone to me, I'm going to meet Jack. Because when the police spoke to me, I went, don't know, I've never heard of Jack Holmes. Never, and that's the truth. And I've never heard anything bad or anything other than I. And my honest from my deep root inside my gut, hence why we're talking, and I'm glad we're talking because it's put some things to bed for me personally, especially about the Parasite, but is to let you know that I never ever, well, I've never said anything bad about Jack, never pointed the finger at the man or anything, because I don't believe he did it.
No.
But I knew the Parasite, as I call him, Fatty, was going to be putting a book together, put me in, Nipper down and all that and everything else. And he put the feelers out and we made contact, as you well know. And I would like to thank him for that because it's put a lot of answers in my head that I needed to know to bed. Not with his brother, and I think I'm talking about with this man here, how he got the book off the ground, how he fucking had all this information and was going around telling he's the one that knows it, and still to this day reckons he's got all the answers, and the new book will say it all. But it's been 25 fucking years. Why ain't he solved the case?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And what he done to me on one of the documentaries, which I think was one of his last documentaries, what I went to play, they rung me up, him and a producer, and said, come and do this film, and we're going to do this film about Essex Police, blah, blah, blah. And like over the whole 20 odd years, if I go for an interview at TV, news, and I've done hundreds and hundreds of them over the years, if I go there and people say to me about this, and this, John, what do you think this is? What actually happened? Blah, blah, blah. I will always give what Nichols said. If they say, well, this and this, I say, well, Darren Nichols said this, Darren Nichols said that, right? And that's what I've done all the way along. On the last program, I'm doing the same thing. Nichols' recollection of it was this, you see. Then the cunts edited me. So they got me voice. Right? So they cut the Nichols bit off the beginning, cut that off. And then they've got me saying, because I like to say, Nichols says, Jack shot him, handed the gun to Mick. That's what Nichols says. And Mick shot him. Well, he cut off the Nichols bit at the beginning and sent me voice out. And it's taped over so many times that there's jukebox in the background where he covertly taped me on other stuff as well. The music in the background changes songs about 5 times. But then because how bad it is, there was words that they hadn't got on my voice. So the last thing, I forget the name of the program, what he done, but he sent me a letter, an email saying, "Can you do a voiceover, John?" He said, "Of the program what we're putting out." And I said, "Yeah, of course I can." He said, "We want you to talk about mixed bits and this bits and the rest of it." And he gave me the list, and I thought, "Yeah, that's all right. I'll just read that out." But that was the words they was missing. Right, so they had that, but what they didn't know was, when I went to a local one here in Ipswich, a sound studio to tape it for them, so I done a voiceover. The guy there edited it anyway because he wanted me to do it in an angry voice. He wanted to do it in a nice soft voice and the middle of the range, and that guy had edited it so that it sounded right. You see, that's what he'd done. And of course, that was what the Parasite and his producer wanted at the time, and so they then had the words that was missing. So then they could have made the edited version, and that's what they've done to me.
And I'm just going to back you up on saying there, John, because I know about Darren Nichols. A lot of people didn't know, which you obviously know through the court case. Other stuff he's done and grasped and set people up, and stuff's gone missing. Massive parcels, and someone out and they're getting killed down to it and all that. And that was down to Nichols. He had no remorse, no fucking loyalty to anyone. No. He was just a no good cunt. Sorry, I'm allowed to say that, aren't I? And he was a dog. So what I'm saying to you, and people believed what that dog was saying about your brother, and it was fucking, it weren't. Nothing that came out of his mouth was about as true as fucking the Parasite.
Yeah,
they're probably mates.
They probably are, and at the end of the day, it's right. It's like Nichols. He'll come out and clean up. Nichols, he'll come out.
He's low life cunt, John. Honestly,
yeah, he'll come out because, like the Parasite, he knows there'll be money to earn out of the story.
Do you know the sad thing as well? Like him writing books, and I've sat there for 25 years, kept my mouth shut, and I've sort of last 7 years been living in Spain, come back again because like my sister had cancer, and I'm getting too old now. I want to see my kids and grandchildren grow up, and people, when you do these audiences and I do stuff and then go, "Well, you must know fucking who shot me, was like your brother," and I went, "No, I don't." And I put my hand on my dad's ashes, right? He was the closest thing to me, and I go, "I don't," and I don't believe that. And I said, and they went, "Oh, well, what about the revenge and all that?" I went, "There ain't no revenge." I said, like, if they're innocent and all the bird they're doing, and I always thought that about your brother, that's a fucking punishment enough to lose 25 years of your fucking life. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's a long time to sit in a fucking, like, fall between, you know what I mean? And sit there and looking at the walls and thinking,
Yeah.
Can't like the other fucking fat prick, like, using all that against people like him, and now he's going to turn from being and want to support him, get him out, and say he's guilty, and he's got to be back inside because he needs a new platform to write another book, and that's all it boils down to. You know what I mean? And I'm so glad we're speaking because this shows the public that us two, as grown men, I'm talking about grown, sensible men, sitting talking to each other, and that cunt, he could be sitting here at this moment, like bouncing off each other because one, and first of all, he ain't got the arsehole. Two, he gets caught out because he's a fucking liar, and he's a keyboard warrior, and he lives in a fucking little box room on his fucking computers, getting information on everyone else and using it to benefit his own fucking pocket.
I'll tell you something else, Carlton, and this was a weird thing. When we was away doing that last program, which was quite a few years ago, when he edited my voice, we got on the boat the ferry going across to Holland because it was going to be down over Denmark and Amsterdam. Got on there and his phone's going all the time, bang, 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 and he's ignoring it, and eventually he answers it. And when he answers it, and he's going, no, he fucking can't. No, he fucking can't. And he's having a rant with someone on the phone. When he comes up, I goes, Trouble, Parasite? I ain't to say his name, but Trouble. And he's gone, he said, the fucking, the skaghead I live with now. I said, skaghead, what, your wife now? He said, yeah, the skaghead there. He said, I've knocked fuck out of her ex-old man because he's a pain. the boy is a fucking arsehole, and she's now ringing me up while I'm here doing this filming. He's locked in the bedroom at home, and he's to stay there till I get home in 4 or 5 days' time. She's ringing me up the skaghead to let him out. And I'm thinking, oh, right. I said, how old's he then? She's 15. The man is a fucking wrong one, I'm telling you. That is fucking child abuse.
Can I just say something? I honestly forget even to do with the case and why we're speaking, right? You've met him and I've met him and everything else. He has actually got an illness. He's not right in it because the way he performed, to be that obsessed with something that you're nothing to do with, to actually, do you know what? If I reckon he had a life fairy godmother, he had 3 wishes. I think one of them would be to go back and be down that country lane and be sat in the car and be shot with him. So he's up there in the lights.
Yeah, like Martyr. Martyr.
Yeah.
That's what he would want.
Honestly,
He would want
I've always thought that in my head. I mean, he would love to be fucking buried in that Range Rover with the 3 of them. That's how I think it. He's that obsessed with the whole fucking thing. Yeah. And I think he's got a fucking illness. He's always wanted to be a gangster, but he's got no recognition, no friends. He's hated on every part of England, from Scotland to Manchester to Newcastle. And I talk to these people. It's like the respect thing, you know, like it is when proper people talk to each other, and that's how you live. There ain't nowhere in England where he's welcome. Yeah, he's a hated man. He's got no friends. He's got no background, you know. And I take the piss out of it. So I went, oh, there was this geezer from Birmingham, jumped in his fucking escort estate with his family, drove to fucking Pixie in Essex and took over Essex with no firm. No firm. He says he was a partner of the Essex boys, right? But he had nothing to do with the Learbet's drugs or anything to do with them and all the drugs they were selling. Yet it was all the drugs that were being sold in his club come from the boys, right? And it was these dealers selling them, but he was anti-drugs. And as soon as HG died, what did he do? Got samples of drugs to give the old bill, fucking grassed up the dealer, fucking went behind was witness for the case and everything. What does that tell you?
Yeah, he's a wrong one.
But he ain't a wrong one. He's a proper man. Me and you, he says, me and you are the liars. He reckons he's going to destroy us. How can he destroy us?
Yeah, right, yeah.
There's nothing to destroy.
No,
What's he going to take the proper? Is he going to take the proper away from us? You know, you know, I don't know what's going on in his head and where he thinks he can destroy whatever he's got, and he's got nothing else he can make about you because he's not got your voice to use or anything else. What's he going to do? And it's another fucking book of lies. This is why we're good. Me and John are talking with you doing it, because before this silly fucking book comes out, which he's already brought out 5 times and added bits to it, we can now discredit it because he's already made a fucking video saying he's going to destroy me, John, Niparelis, everybody. Right? But for what? What's he going to do? He still ain't telling them fucking how to solve the case. Jace, right, you know me, I've got fucking books and photos out. Right, Jay said to me the other day, he went to me, one thing I realised about you, he said, and you'll have a photo done with anyone, a fan, your friends or anything and everything like that. He said, there's not one photo floating about of you and him together.
Yeah, true.
Do you know that?
Yeah.
You know why, John? I didn't trust him.
No.
Didn't trust him. And when Pat came out, we had the party down the Epping Country Club, and that's the first time I met Pat through Tony. We had a party, coming home party and all that. They have a professional photographer walking around, like in the Epping Country Club. And he's down there, and he was out of his box like that, fucking on pills. And he's going, like, it's a photographer. He's come running over, he went, no photos. And I just stepped away and I went to home. Not a bit of me. He's got up to Pat. Pat's fucking pissed and everything and joined him. So, oh, I've had Pat with, and that's it. And that's his fucking one photo that he uses for everything. Every fucking, you know, unless he gets it off the press, what he does. He still now keeps snippets of me from when I got nickings I've got 30 years ago, John. Paper cuttings. When my name, he's got all the paper cuttings about me and brings them up. That ain't fucking normal.
No, it's not, man.
What do you say to someone that basically is saying you're the fantasist and you're the one making it all up? How do you respond to that?
Me? He says, I've got no stories in my life. I don't know no one. Fucking hell, do you know what? It don't even bother me. Do you know what bothers me more? Where he's living off like what happened in Manchester, Scotland, people we know, and what is other people, and what is the abuse he's put in on this case 25 years, and still fucking the way he talked about Tony, Pat, and Craig, like as if they were alive, he would have fucking destroyed them and beat them. You know what I mean? He went like he's made statements like he weren't scared. As soon as that something happened, he went on his toes and hid from them. But it like that we done about Ronnie and Reggie. He went, he said, I fell out with him. He said they are just a couple of clowns. They've been fucking dead, the pair of them, for 10 years. Would he ever done that when they were alive?
No, he wouldn't.
You know, listen, you can slag any dead person down. Anyone can, because they can't answer back or stand in the corner. And that's all I've wanted to do. Like the same as John with Jack, I ain't got no brothers. I've got one sister. My friends are my brothers, and Tony was my brother. And all I tried to do was defend his corner, the same as John has done for his brother, to stop people like that fat prick destroying every fucking good fucking word about that man. Do you know what I mean? Yes, he had his faults. Yes, he did do things that I disagreed with, but he was my friend. He did good stuff with me, and I always trusted him. Never done anything to hurt me. Sorry.
So, John, if let's say that an individual come up to you now and said, "Oh, you know what, I was wrong again. I'd like to help your brother." What would your response be to that?
It just wouldn't happen. Do you know what I mean? If someone come forward now, you know, I've got this, I'll just shut off and walk away, because the Parasite has done all the fucking damage. You know, you could never trust no one again. You can't trust no one. And he's fucked it all. Do you know what I mean? With the Taylor girls, them girls that got went away for murder. He followed their case all the way through, and when they got out,
he stalked them.
He
stalked them.
And then went against them. Exactly the same as what he's trying to do with Jack and fucking Mick.
But he fucking stalks people. He's a weirdo. He was fucking writing to fucking top fucking nutters in prison and aliases women's names to get fucking stuff out of them.
Yeah, Ian Huntley and all them, wasn't it? He ripped all them.
Fucking weirdo cunt. Weirdo.
Yeah.
I just think you know what? And I just really think it's sad what at a time when you did need proper people around you, you know, it's like this is a good thing, because, you know, people, if I believed it was your brother, I wouldn't be sitting there talking, vice versa. Same as I've done something against your brother. So if it helps your brother, even not to say help him, it will never get no years back, but at least people would look at him differently from my point of view. Do you know what I mean? They go, you know, and I'm not lying for the sake of we're talking that fat prick anyway. I'm just talking. I've always thought that, you know what I mean. And it's nice to be in a position. You giving the stuff that I've heard of you is answering questions in my head. I've always didn't know, and to tell you that as well. Yeah. You know.
Well, that's got to say a lot. That's got to give some, I guess you could say, level of credibility to you, Carlton, being that you obviously you know within your heart that it wasn't Jack that done it, because I don't think for a second that you'd be able to speak to anyone that had any level of or any involvement with the murder of your best friend.
No, definitely not. And you know, and full credits for John for putting the reach out and now speaking to him, because I wouldn't have known how to have done it. I wouldn't have gone to reach John, because I always in my head it wasn't never for like it was never Jack anyway. Like you know, I've got my reservations about Mickey's involvement, but that's a different thing. But it's just, it just shows that proper people will always respect proper people's and sit there and listen like grown men. That's what I'm saying, Jack. You couldn't put that man in this us freeze now sitting here. We're like talking like grown men, like fucking proper people. Do you know what I mean? And speaking the truth. He does not know how to speak the truth.
Right.
And you know, and I'm grateful for this program. It means lots of, because this will fucking open a lot of people's eyes, and also people are going to go, fuck me. What these sorts of Jack Moses, but they're not going to, not in a million years. They're going to put this like that. Do you know that? And the impact, I hope, for your sake, John, it's a good one for your family side. And for me, it gives me the impacts I want anyway, for peace of mind.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem at all. I think the other thing that you're going to see shortly, I reckon, is a picture of Vladimir Putin with the Parasite standing next to him, because he's got
to. I'm writing a book about it. I bet he gets all the photos of the dead body in the Ukraine war. The fuck is this? He was out there. Fucking hell, that would surprise me one single bit. You'll probably, yeah, I'll have a bet. I won't even have a bet on you on that, because you'll win. Fucking hell, nice one, John.
Right.
But that's the scale of what and how low he would reach. You know what I mean? Definitely. You know. I mean, what he's done to the fucking up in Manchester to that lot was despicable, and elsewhere, other people in the country I know. And it's always around someone's death or someone's illness or something bad that's happened to someone. There's nothing come good out of anything he goes near. Honestly, you know that.
Do you think like he does that to those? I mean, there are proper people up there and all over the country.
All good people, John.
Do you think he's done that and brought it to light, because knowing that they can't retaliate to him because he's brought it to light?
And so I'm telling you, I will put money on this one. He knows he's still got protection from the other people, because if anyone goes near his house, I was surprised he's got fucking buzzers, buttons everywhere, right? Fucking thing on the chain around his neck, because that cunt would ring old Bill as soon as you went near him.
100%.
So you think that's because of that he's got access to a certain, I guess you could say, level of society, that if he feels he's under threat or if an attack comes upon him from, that he can push a button, a panic button, and there'll be someone there to save him?
Why can't people get hold of him to hurt him? Why is it all his life he's moved from one city to another city to another city to another city? If he was that powerful in Essex when all that was going on in the original fucking, why didn't he stay in Essex and carry on with his power thing and take over the rest of Essex like he says he was running it?
Yeah,
absolute load of bollocks from the fat cunt.
when he moved up to Peterborough after he left Essex, and he moved up there, he used to go to the because I sometimes if I went up and meet him, I'll go up and meet him on a Saturday, and stay in a hotel or something up there, and then come back. But anyway, every time I got up there, and he used to be like ring me and say, "I'll be there in a minute. I'm just at the football match." And I thought, football match? What the fuck are you doing at a football match? You know? And then when he came back, he said, "Oh, we had all this ag when we left the football match and all the rest of it." I reckon he was reenacting one of your films, I reckon.
Yeah.
He's a wannabe.
No one on the football scene knows him.
No.
On his last film, this made me laugh, down to that other prick, Terry Stoney, got involved with, fucking his new best mate. But he fucking, he said he was Millwall, one of Millwall's top boys. And the scene in that film, because I haven't seen it, people say, he's him doing West Ham. Obviously, dick at me. I don't give a fuck anyway. But we've got like in the thing, we've got an association with all the old top. We all know each other. We're all old men now. Like if we see each other, we'll have a pint in the pub, a bit of fucking jovial chat and all that. But they're going, like I sent messages back from my pals that he's got older. He went, we don't even know him. Who the fuck is he? He's nothing to do with us. Fucking Millwall. He's from fucking Birmingham, the cunt. Honestly, never heard of him. And all the top. The Zulus, I mean, God rest their soul, Barrett has just passed away. All the top boys up north and all that, none of them know him. They don't even know what football team's supposed to. I know he goes to Lincoln with his boy, which is like the little local team, but no one's ever known him at football. No one's even heard of him, nothing. Bit like the underworld, John. No cunt knows him. It's like I travel the whole country up north and Nottingham, Boatsy, or wherever I go, Birmingham, Liverpool. So if I have a show, I always got a good football following. And they're always the top boys from that firm will always come and pay the respects, like not like fucking like that, but to have a beer with me and meet that, and it's a mutual respect. You know, that man, the fucking fat parasite, I'll call him. He's got not an ounce of fucking respect. He doesn't even know what respect means, or honour, or loyalty, or the truth. You know what I mean? That's what. And there's these people out there, and them stupid at Carnaby made this film about his life, so that I was pushed out and started trying to make it like the real story that he's the one that started it all off. And good luck to them. I don't give a fuck. They're earning a pound note, but they give that cunt they've a to reinvent himself and get like an Hollywood actor, Vinnie Jones. We ain't an Hollywood actor. He's a fucking old footballer. Do you know what I mean? All his first 6 films, he didn't even say a word because he didn't know how to act. Looks the part. But, you know, and I'm shocked that, you know, I always had a lot of respect for that man. And when I fell out with Terry Stone, I went, you can't work with him. He's a dog. He's a fucking police informer. Well, I'm an actor now and all that. And I knew from that day that Bernie was in his ear and Bernie was telling me he had all the real stories about the truth about the Exodus Boys. And I knew that it would end up how it ended, making fucking 5, 6, 7, 8 films, you know. I just think they've embarrassed themselves and it's come back to bite them in the arse because everyone knows that that fat prick is a dirty, no good, lying, grassing cunt.
Absolute. You're absolutely right.
Right, final thoughts then, John. So your final thoughts, you're still fighting for your brother. You always will till there's the last breath in your lungs. What would you like to say to basically finish off your chat here today with both of us? What's your closing comments and statements?
It's like Carlton, you know, it's a lot of unanswered questions that you're getting now. I'll get a little bit more. Well, I'll get more the same because you know Carlton's name come up. The Parasites never did. Do you know what I mean? And it's nice to talk to someone because even when I think it was shortly after Carlton when you done your first Foot Soldier, and I watched it on the telly, and I thought to myself, who is this guy? Who is this guy? You know. But my cousins are associated with the gym in London, the Peacock. And they're Hammer supporters anyway. And we was at well, in actual fact, their dad's funeral. And I said, who's this Carlton Leach guy who does these Foot Soldier things in? And they told me all about you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
good
so
people.
yeah, I knew that was genuine, that you was genuine, you know. You can't do that with a Parasite.
Nah,
you know, if you say to someone, who is this Parasite, they'll go grass.
And can I just say something to you? Jack should be proud to have a brother, because if I had a brother like you who stood by me for all these years and still fighting my corner, hats off to you for that, John. Total respect. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Yeah. He's got paper cuttings of me from 30 years ago, even before when Tony was alive, when we were alive. Why has he kept photo cuttings out of newspapers when we was running this before Tony Patton died from my early days? For what reason?
Because he wants he's a wannabe.
Fucking right and all, John.
A wannabe.
Totally right, mate. It will never be me. It will never be you. He would never be a fucking proper person, mate. He's a dog. I just want to give a message out to the public because you're going to watch this, you know. And this is history in the making here a little bit. No one ever thought this moment would happen in time, especially after all these years. And everyone's got the arse and this, that, and the other. For the likes of me and John to be speaking to you on the same programme, which I'm glad and I appreciate. So I hope that the people appreciate what's gone into this effort for us to both do this and to make things not right for each other, but to put things in perspective where people now understand what the truth really is all about.
Yeah.